Thank you, Gabriela, and thank you all for inviting Frick to share some of the initiatives in which supporting children human rights defenders to use digital environment. So me and Smiljana are going to have this presentation together. Child Rights Information Center is a non-governmental organization from Moldova. Maybe some of you been to Moldova. I'm not sure if all of you know where Moldova is, but or have heard about Child Rights Information Center. It's a non-governmental organization set up in 1999, 20 years ago. And we want to inspire adults to listen to the voice of every child. And we collaborate with children, families, and authorities, public services, and civil society to find and apply solutions based on child rights. So just two things about the organization. Now to the topic. One of the initiatives we are going to present is Children's Platform. It is a group of children and young people that is renewed every 2 years approximately. They are using a website and 2 social media platforms to research children's opinion on their rights and to inform peers about their rights. But after finishing the research, they are presenting the findings and the recommendations to stakeholders. Then they are presenting, campaigning for their rights using the information from research, presenting the responses from the stakeholders, and they are campaigning it the right using social media also. In the last 5 years, Platforma has monitored 4 rights: right to free time and leisure, right to have an opinion considered in schools, right to hygiene and sanitation, and the last one was right to sexual education. So researching, campaigning, and informing was from the beginning mainly made in online environment. Reporting, meeting authorities used to be in person, but has moved online since the pandemic started. And those report on sexual education was an online roundtable that was live streamed on social media platforms. So how do Platforma use social media tools, online tools, not only social media? They develop online questionnaires and they are organizing already online focus groups with teachers, parents, children when they are doing the research. For example, when they have researched toilets in schools, they have asked children to send photos with the toilets from their schools and use these photos also to later on in communication campaigns. With the help of our communication, a colleague from our communication department, they are creating banners, GIFs, videos, audio inserts, photo galleries, then to present all the information they are finding, all the recommendations they are passing to authorities, also to document all the work they are doing to remain transparent, visible. Also, they are using live streams, info sessions, roundtables. They are streaming them on social media. I just 2 things to add that about the support they are getting from Frick. We allocate a lot of time for learning about rights And later on, I will discuss about challenges, and you'll understand why it is important to generally learn about rights. Then, when they select a topic, we again learn about this right, and we invite experts if this is a specific right and we want to understand all the elements. It happened when we monitored hygiene, schools, and sexual education. Then we dedicate a lot of time also to learn about research methods, then creating this space safe where they can feel accepted, and some of them, I will quote some of them, they say, "Oh, I feel accepted. I felt very good. My opinion was accepted." We understand, of course, this is very important for them. They feel safe, and then we can this is of course very important for them to feel safe and to express their opinion, because we give this space for their inputs. We are quite flexible when planning, for example, a year activity. We're quite flexible, and we give space for them to decide on activities, on research methods, on types of content they develop for social media, and so on. But not that easy, of course. There are some challenges, and some of them from offline are actually applicable to online. We can say that there is a lack of trust in consultations and researches among children, because it happens adults often consult children, but they do not use that and do not take into consideration children's opinion when decide something, or if they do that, they do not feedback children, and they don't know if their opinion has influenced something. And when a peer asks him, her to share the experience, the opinion, or they don't trust it, and it takes more effort to be trustful among children. Unfortunately, children, it happens also when expressing their critical ideas, face bad consequences in Moldova. Teacher lower their marks, they threaten them to expel from school, they abuse them emotionally, neglect, and this also makes children to fear of being identified if they express a critical idea. Even if we are doing this anonymous researches and we are informing children it's anonymous, and even if they participate in focus group, the information remains confidential. Still there is this fear, it exists, and if we cannot have this direct contact with children, it is even harder to get him or her to express the opinion. One more challenge is that many factors made that generally society and children do not value human rights, still do not value human rights in Moldova. And the engagement of adults, respectively children, is low. Engagement with human and child rights content is low. It raises, with exceptions, when, for example, a topic is put on public agenda by more actors. It is easier to make children to, they are more likely to express their opinion. Or if some national authority, like Ministry of Education, takes a decision that affects directly and very very quick the life of children. Or like it happened in 2020, children were more likely to speak about online learning. It was easier than if we would, if there is like no critical situation, not many discussion on the public agenda, it is harder to collect, to research children's opinion, even in online. And so far, there are good things. We can say that the number of children that express their views, it is hard to get their opinion, but it is increasing. Like during the 5 years, we can see a change in numbers. One of the report was made, 175 children have participated in that research. And the last one, 2021, actually, we had 1,400 and something children in that research. So gradually, the number is increasing. We have more and more child-led processes in Frick, for example, and it is connected to the next point. The first child-led research on sexual education was done entirely online because of the pandemic. We moved. We are just at the beginning of this process. We announced a call for children to enroll in this process, and for 1.5 years, all the process was online. Members never met in person. All the workshops, all the meetings, working meetings, all the tools used in the research have been developed online. Everything from like creating to reporting, and the next follow-up is going to be online. And we left a lot of space for children to come with ideas in this process. So I will pass to Smiljana. She has more to add. I will move the slides if that is okay.
So thanks so much, Irina, for this nice presentation of the platform in general and how the children in platform, children and young people use social media for their advocacy related to human rights that are of interest for them. And so, like in this part of our presentation, we wanted a little bit to share from our experience in supporting children to engage with the UPR, and also like to conclude a bit, sharing from a couple of conclusions from the discussions that we had with child human rights defenders related to the digital environment. So I think I'm not having that much time anymore. Gabi, what do you think?
You have 5 minutes, Smiljana.
Yeah, thanks so much for this. I think I'm going to just provide learning from like consultations that we held with children related to the digital environment. So, and as you can see here on the left-hand side, this is like an online flip chart. This is actually part of a Jamboard slide, and this is a result from a consultation that we held recently with children. And so there are a couple of comments related to the internet and social media. And so here you can see what is it that children appreciate in respect of social media, in using social media in defending their rights. So as Irina said, this social media gives them freedom to communicate their issues a bit more freely than in like offline environment. And also what they appreciate is the connection that they can establish and the information that they can get about child and youth movements from around the world. And also internet is like the key tool that enables them. So this would be on the positive side. Irina, can you move the slide? And so yeah, on the negative side, it was interesting, for example, in respect of the consultations that we had with child human rights defenders in the framework of the UPR, is that we did not discuss digital environment as a separate topic, but it always came as a topic. We can say it's like a cross-cutting topic related to other general issues that child human rights defenders are facing in their activities. For example, as mentioned by Emma, like in terms of information about human rights, child-friendly information that is generally lacking, and like support for engagement, also generally lacking. The things are even worse for those that are not having access to the internet, or not having equipment, or not having money to pay for the good internet connection, because the information and support that they can get is now online, and more online. So they are excluded from this little that is given to them. On another issue that child human rights defenders highlighted is general widespread risk of violence as a consequence of their activities as child human rights defenders. And it doesn't matter really, all the risks apply offline or online. It is like, for example, there is an example here, the more critical their views, or if they engage on topics that are more controversial, then yeah, the consequences are even more serious. And for example here, and they are offline or online, it doesn't matter, like it's the same. What's interesting is as well, what we learn from children is that they are sometimes using social media to highlight issues and like lack of protection, or for example threats that they are getting. I can give an example, like to get some more support or protection when there is no protection in their environment. For example, there was a group of children that was threatened in their schools by expelling and so on, and to get some support for themselves, they to like get attention, they then posted about this on the social media, and some influential actors saw this and they could react and then influence the school, so they stopped with threats and other negative consequences. But they are not always such strategies are not always successful, and sometimes they are also leading to even more problems in a way. For example, another group of child human rights defenders was not protected during the protest that they held in one of the towns in Moldova. Although they announced their protest, there was no police to protect them, and they were attacked on the streets. And so to highlight this, or to get attention from those who could help, they also posted about this on social media. But yeah, the reaction of the public was rather negative. There was a lot of hate speech, and also like especially targeting like their young age, belittling their priorities and intimidating them in various ways. So yeah, this is to a little bit to explain how they use social media in terms of getting support, sometimes successful, sometimes not. And also an issue that they are highlighting is lack of education in how can they use digital media in safe and respectful way in the schools. And this is also something that is disabling them and limiting opportunities to engage for their rights online. So yeah, this would be from us so far.